Well, needless to say, this is a very proud day for all of us here at Arise News. We have been honored with an Emmy Award presented at a gala event in New York City last night. The recognition is for our documentary called Game Changers, How the Harlem Globetrotters Battled Racism. Let's take a look at an excerpt.
We put the fun in the game. They're not giving us the recognition that we would have gotten because they're not publicizing us, they're publicizing the NBA.
Of course, they don't play this happy type of fun-making game all the time. When hard-pressed, they can play the game straight and fast in championship form.
Well, the way basketball is played today is Harlem Globetrotter style that they now call Showtime.
I'm Julian Phillips. At every competition, they were the top attraction, but paid less than those they played against. Eager fans would line up for autographs, but wouldn't let them into their restaurants or hotels. They were sent as America's ambassadors to the Soviet Union, but treated as second-class citizens at home. They were the best of the best. They were the Harlem Globetrotters, and they were not playing the white man's game.
We started the three-point shot. People said it wouldn't work.
Heck, we were slam dunking before it was fashionable. Before people knew what slam dunking was, we did that.
Alan Weiss is the executive producer of the award-winning program. I'm also proud to say he's the producer in charge here at Arise Review. I guess somewhat of my boss. Well, it's about time I got you on this set. I've been mentioning your name so many times, much to your chagrin. Tell us about this documentary. You know, it really came about a really great time, and I said in the sense great that race has been front and center in our nation's current events right now.
When you look at the NBA today and you see how many people of color are playing, it's hard to realize that go back 20, 30, 40 years, the NBA was an all-white league. And if you were black in this country and you wanted to play professional basketball, the only way you can play it would be on a team like the Harlem Globetrotters. So this documentary tracks how they were heroes on the court, where people would come and ask for their autographs, but then when they got off the court and wanted to eat dinner, they weren't allowed to eat in those same people's restaurants. You know, it's really timely, Alan, too, because a lot of these things older people know. Some of the baby boomers and those who are no longer alive. But the younger generation perhaps is not aware of all these kinds of challenges that people of color had to go through in this country. So this is really, really, really timely. I want to bring in, joining us now, the editor-in-chief and chairman of Arise TV Networks, Nduka Obaigbena. He's in Lagos. Well, congratulations, Chairman. Of course, you must be very, very proud.
Well, of course, we are very proud of the good work being done across the network by all the people of Arise News from New York to London and across Africa. It's a proud moment. It's a first step. It's a groundbreaking moment.
And indeed, Nduka, it's a proud step for all of us here because we have a soft launch and you have this vision of bringing the African diaspora and other things to the forefront here. And without that vision, we wouldn't have a network like this. So for all the folks that work here, you know, we have to thank you for all the hard work and effort you have put into making this network a reality. And I want to go back to you, Alan, here in terms of the other people that may have been involved, that were involved in this production.
Well, I'd like to myself and Nduka in Lagos. Sir, we'd like to, on behalf of the production team, offer you your Emmy, coast to coast, or I guess continent to continent. And we all hope it's the first of many, many more, sir.
Absolutely. We're glad to receive it, and we're glad to change the face of broadcast journalism in the world. Thank you so much, Alan and the team. And like I said, the purpose of Arise is to tell the news in a different kind of way. Thank you so much.
And Nduka, I just want to ask you also, this is of course the first of hopefully many more Emmys and other awards for Arise News. What do you see coming down the pike for other kinds of specials or documentaries that you would like to see aired on the Arise News network?
As we have said countless times, we will tell our own stories. We will tell stories that are rarely told on other networks. At the same time, we will tell the same stories that they tell. So that will be the difference and the cutting edge of Arise.
And Nduka, I want to thank you so much. You know, Alan, getting back to you here with this Emmy, they, of course, obviously took a big team to put this whole thing together. Who were some of the other people involved in this production?
Well, there was a on-camera host named Julian Phillips.
Oh, really?
He looks very similar to you.
That's a clone.
He was the glue that held this, that brought this, that gave this program such heart. Really, it was a pleasure working with you. Also, other people to mention, Deborah Gobble was the writer. Mary Lou Yacoub was one of the producers. Jack Nisi and Larry Michaels were directors for the studio segments. Many of the studio people here today were part of the studio crew that did it. The graphics were Pierre Villeneuve, helped on that. And let me think if there's anybody else I'm missing. Janet DeHart was also another producer.
I thought you've been very kind, but you are actually the glue behind this. You know, a lot of people aren't really aware of what an executive producer does and what's involved in getting this whole thing together. You have a lot of experience in this. You've produced a lot of people, Walter Cronkite, Katie Couric down the list, and we can go on and on about what you do and the value that you bring to this network. You know, I am proud to work with you. I'm also proud, of course, to work with our chairman and chief editor here, Nduka Obaigbena. And I'm really certain, with you two guys at the helm here, that a lot of other awards will certainly come our way.
Well, thank you for that. I can give you some stories that are in a documentary if we've got time.
Sure.
I referenced about being heroes on the court. There was a specific story that Carl Green, who was with us last night when we got the Emmy, he was playing, and they were playing in Lima, Illinois, a northern city. And the game was over, and people lined up. And this one particular guy kept kind of pushing his kid forward and insisting that they give him an autograph. And they finally, you know, turned around, they saw the kid, they saw the man, and they gave him an autograph. And the guy was very appreciative. So they went, they showered. They hadn't eaten. What happened so much with these teams was they would get on the bus in the morning, go and play a game, get on the bus again, go play another game. So this is about 10 or 11 o'clock at night. They hadn't eaten since maybe 9 in the morning, except for a little bit on the bus. They find this one diner in the town, and guess who owned it? That man with the autograph. And he wouldn't let them in until all the people inside left, and then he lowered the blinds and let them in.
We've got less than a minute left. I just got to ask you, putting this whole thing together here, what personally did you learn out of all this that perhaps you didn't know before? What stuck out in your mind, just outside of this particular story?
That we have a long way to go to get rid of the racism in this country. That Freddie Gray, Eric Gardner, Michael Brown, this is just an ongoing issue that as journalists we need to expose and get rid of.
Well, Alan Weiss, I want to thank you so much. And of course, Nduka Obaigbena, thank you for joining us from Lagos. And thank you for joining us for Arise Review, everybody. I'm Julian Phillips. Have a great, wonderful, productive, and blessed week.